What is the goal, the end game of the United States government in the war between between Ukraine and Russia today?
Well, it depends on who you're listening to. Um, Certainly, the what I'm hearing over the past week or so from the talking heads in Washington, the Secretary of Defense out of the White House, is that our objective seems to be to wear Russia down, to wear down Russia's military capability so that it can't interfere, presumably, anywhere in the world. Because at the current time, obviously, this conflict is taking place right at Russia's front door. But the intention would be to diminish Russia's capability as a military and as a political power.
And at what cost are we willing to do that? I mean, stated differently, um, are we willing to allow the military and civilians still in Ukraine to be slaughtered in a war that they are destined to lose?
Yeah, I would agree with your conclusion there that they are destined to lose. There is no way you're going to remake or affect effectively um, the imbalance between the two countries that are engaged in this fighting. The United States will merely prolong the process, or at least this appears to be the intention, and they will basically, as some jokers are saying on television and the internet, fight Russia to the last dead or Ukrainian, um, because that's the inevitability of this. Ukraine cannot win. Uh, Russia could have come to terms before this fighting even started, but for the obstacles that basically the United States was putting in the way. So we have a terrible situation getting worse. And now, of course, there is talk about the use of nuclear weapons.
What do you either know or surmise your former colleagues in the intelligence community are telling the president? I mean, are they telling him that Putin is scrambling, that Putin's a madman, that Putin doesn't know what he's doing, that Putin's on thin ice, and the Russians can lose? Or are they saying to him, Mr. President, the Russians are going to win this thing, no matter how much military support we give the Ukrainians?
I rather suspect that he's getting a lot of the former, which is basically the pep rally talk about what's going on out of the intelligence community. That's because the people who are at the top of the intelligence community are basically in place because they're cheerleaders, because they'll bring good news to the president and to the Secretary of State. Now, but at the same time, there are some people in the intelligence community, believe it or not, who are actually intelligent, who are actually aware of what really is at stake here and what is really going on. And I think the leadership probably gets a little nervous when it sees that kind of thing.
But
And
don't
it's
they
not,
have,
yeah,
excuse me for interrupting, Phil, don't they have a legal and a moral duty to tell the president the truth, not what they think he wants to hear to justify his past behavior, but the truth?
yeah, I absolutely agree. And that's why these people are becoming a little nervous because they know that there is an alternative narrative about what's going on, which quite significantly differs from the narrative that's being promoted. But bear in mind, in the intelligent world, truth is a very elusive thing. Uh, you have truth if you're sitting in a room and Vladimir Putin is saying, "This is what we are going to do tomorrow." That's kind of a good bit of evidence that tells you what he probably will do tomorrow. But just looking at what you see going on in Russia and what kind of meetings are taking place, and you're probably intercepting low level telephone conversations and that kind of thing, you don't have the truth. That's why we have analysts. The analysts put all this stuff together in a certain way, and they don't always get it right.
All right. How about on the military side? A friend of mine sent me a clip the other day. I don't know if it was intended to be public or not. It's public now, of the CEO of Raytheon. You know who they are. I mean, one of the biggest manufacturers of military hardware, maybe the biggest in the world, basically saying the Defense Department and NATO are giving the Ukrainians equipment from their stockpiles. We're not manufacturing new stuff for them. This is old stuff that they have in their stockpiles. And much of it is being destroyed by the Russians because the Russians know where these stockpiles are. They're already over there before the Ukrainian soldiers even learn how to use them. Oh, and by the way, once these stockpiles are depleted, and then he sort of goes, yay, yay, then we're going to be getting orders for more. All right. So Raytheon wants to make more equipment to destroy more people and destroy more equipment and replace the equipment that's already been destroyed. True or not?
Well, I think that's straight out of the horse's mouth, as the expression goes. Of course, I mean Lockheed and Raytheon are in the business of providing equipment that has only a limited shelf life, and the more you limit the shelf life, the more money they're going to make. This is the problem with the whole business of what we're seeing in Ukraine is essentially it's kind of a stew of a lot of different interest groups and interests that come together that want to see this thing escalate to the point of the United States getting involved actively in it. And the reason for all this is because it benefits those groups. It benefits the oligarchs. It benefits the defense contractors. It benefits the clowns in Congress who somehow seem to make money when all of these deals are churning around. So there are a lot of people that benefit from this, and that's what it comes down to. Because there's no logical reason on earth why the United States should be involved in this conflict.
Doesn't it also benefit, and you may have alluded to this, I just want to be precise because this is a hot button issue with a lot of our viewers. Doesn't it also benefit the globalists in the State Department whose real goal is to diminish Russia and get rid of Putin?
Yeah, yeah. I think there absolutely is that tendency, or that I don't know how you would actually describe it. It's not like a cult that gets together every Thursday night or something like that. But it's it's certainly a group that talks within itself, that exchanges views, gets funded by the sources that we all know about, like Mr. Soros, and they have a world view. They have a world conception of what they want to see. And a country like Russia, which is socially conservative, and also, shall we say, Christian, is something that is, to a certain extent, abhorrent to them.
Right.